So you know how when you finish a book, suddenly your brain is like, poof, everything is gone. You forget maybe what the book was about, what the characters were like, what were their names, what happened in the book. Or sometimes maybe you screenshotted a lot of things from your Kindle reading app, or you have all these quotes or moments annotated on your actual physical copy, but you want an easy way to store all of this. Well, let me put you onto an app that I have been low-key obsessed with because it is so simple to use. Now, you know I'm a Notion girly, and that's probably not going away anytime soon, but Capacity is just a very easy way for you to track your reading in a way that reduces some of the friction that sometimes people have with Notion. It takes almost no time to set it up and start using all of the magic. So let me show you how you can track your reading with Capacities. Once you get to the Capacities website, the first thing you're going to do obviously is create a new account. So Capacities is also very simple to set up. There's two main things that you need to know. The first one is that you're always going to have your calendar available, and that calendar will update basically automatically, plus you can add notes on things that you've done in Capacities for that day. So if you save anything, you can always go to the calendar on that day, and anything that you've created or saved will show up that day. If you wanted to add more notes and more context to it, you can also do that from your calendar. But to save book notes, what you're going to do is you're going to create a book object. So you're going to come on the left-hand sidebar and you're going to go to Objects, New Type, and they already have the book as a type of object. So you're going to select the book. This is kind of like a Notion database where you can fill in information. You can keep it as bare minimum as you want, but the template does already come set up with a couple of things. So you have title, description, tags, notes, cover image, author, rating, recommended by, and medium, and then click Use Template. Now you're going to see books over here on the left-hand sidebar. If you wanted to create collections inside of the book object, you can do that. Like for example, if you wanted to have collections for your genres that you read, or you can simply have tags. Now every object inside of Capacities can have tags and collections assigned to them. My recommendation is keep it simple and just make everything a tag. So for example, your genres can be tags, your tropes can be tags, your ratings can be tags, even authors and series can be tags. So basically that one book object can have a whole bunch of tags, and then you can always pull up all the information you have saved in the system for that particular tag all in one place from your tags. As you can see down here, there is an object called tags, and you can also create tags on the go, so you don't have to think of those tags ahead of time. You can just create them as you need them. But now back to the book. Now you have your book object created, and from here you can create new books. You can also have a tag for read and unread, recommended, for your wish list, things that you've seen online that you may want to check out, for Kindle Unlimited. So create as many tags as you want. That would be my recommendation. Now you can add books from here if you want, or you can also use the app. Now the app is going to be your best friend because you can add so many things instantly and very easily straight from your phone, which is how I add a lot of my information directly from my phone in this. But if you were to add books directly from the website, you would simply go into your books object, which is right here, and then you would obviously see all the books that you've added in, but you can click on the button that says new. That adds a new one here, and then you can just fill in the information. This is just how it looks. Again, you don't have to use the collections if you don't want to, or you can maybe create some sort of maybe the read and to read. Now to add the book information, you simply just type in the title. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the details here. Now you can always add notes right here where it says text. So let's go ahead and add one from here, and then I'll show you how to do that from your phone as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added the title, the cover, the author, and my rating because I have read the book. So here's what I'm going to do in this case. I'm going to create a collection that says read. As you can see here, that collection shows up underneath it. Another thing that I want to mention is that you now see an object type that says images. So any image that you upload will automatically go into the images object. So it is a separate object that is linked to the book object. And back in the actual book object, here's how you can add more tags. In this case, I'm going to create tags for the actual genre. So cozy mystery. I added also amateur sleuth. I will add a tag for 2025 reads. Now, if you are doing, for example, reviews, you can put in here if it was an ARC, you can put in here where did you get it, list the format. So in case it was an audiobook, you can have a tag for audiobooks. You can have as many tags as you want. So now that all of that is done, if you had notes, you can simply type those notes in here. But I'm going to show you how you can reference this object that you've now created. Now, this one I have read already, but if you were reading it and you added the book ahead of time, here's how you would reference it to add notes as you're reading. So when you go back to the calendar, now you want to add some information of what you're doing today so you can track things. You will simply go back to calendar and find the date that you're on. Now, in this particular day, we have added the book, and you will see that at the bottom where it says created today. This will happen automatically for you. So you have the book that you added, the image that you added, and the 3 tags that we've created. So this will automatically log when you've added things into Capacity, which I find that it's very convenient. But here's where you're going to actually add some notes very easily, and you can do this again from the app, which I will show you after. The section before the created today is where you can actually type, which works pretty much like a Notion page. It does have different kinds of blocks. If you start typing / and it will have all the same pretty much things that you had with Notion. So what I usually like to do is have a tag that is called reading notes. So I'm going to go back into tags and create a new tag called reading notes. And then once you're in the calendar, now you want to reference that tag, you're simply going to do hashtag reading notes, and it will start populating. If you want to create something in the moment, you can just type whatever it is that you want and just click the create button right underneath it. In this case, I'm just going to select that. So now it has the tag, and that means that when I open my tag for reading notes, I'm going to be able to see all of the times that I have referenced that in these notes. So that way I will be able to keep all of my reading notes together. So I'm just going to write something quick, started reading. And then if you want to reference that book that you just created, you would click the app and you will start just typing the name and it will pop up. As you can see, it's right there. It has the little icon that says book. You will click on that, and now that has linked that item. And then you can just continue on with your thoughts on what you were reading. This can go on obviously much longer, but I'm going to keep it short just to show you where you can reference now those things. If you had more notes to do, you can simply hit enter and then just start another note. But now this note right here has been linked to your reading notes and to that book. If you were to open that book, you see right here the backlinks, and you can read exactly what that note was. So it would be so easy for you to be able to keep all of your notes saved, super easy, without any friction into this book. And from the book, you would be able to see all of them. Now, same goes with your reading notes because we created that tag for reading notes. So if you click on that, you're going to have that for all of the different notes that you're adding. Now let's look at how you add information from the app, which is how I recommend that you work with Capacities, because it's super easy. It takes just a few seconds for you to save information. And I'm going to show you how I add screenshots from quotes, and even if you record a little voice note for yourself straight from your phone and into Capacities, because yes, you can also add audio. So this is what the app looks like. You're going to click plus at the bottom, which is to add things, and you're going to create a new object. In this case, you're going to create a book, give it the title. Then you're going to add the properties to this. So you're going to click on properties, and you can add the author, the rating, all of those details that we created before as, parts of your basically database. And once you've filled in all that information, you're going to click on the icon just under the 3 dots at the top right, and that's going to give you the customization objects, which is where you can add the cover image. Again, you're going to upload that. This is simply just adding an image object. So you're going to upload that there, and that's already going to create that. If you go back to the date, it adds that in both the image object and the book object. So if you want to make notes on your reading, again, if we use the reading notes hashtag or tag like we did before, you start with that on the current day and start making your notes. You're going to use the to tag the book, and then you're simply going to put all your notes and your thoughts from what you're reading. You always want to make sure you're starting not with the at of the book, because then it's not going to give you a chance to write. So either start with a tag or with text and then work in your tag for the book. Once you go into the book, your tag is there visible, and you can read the actual whole comment of what you have on that line. If you want to add a quote or a screenshot or something like that, you're going to simply click on the plus at the bottom, add an object, add an image object, and you're going to upload that image. Once it's uploaded, you're going to go into the notes of that object and you're going to do the @ and the book title, and that's going to tag that image now to the book. You can also create a tag, for example, book quotes or things like that, to kind of have those more organized with tags as well. But once you tag it to the book, that's where it lives. Now you can also save screenshots for books that you want to read. So again, you can just add an image object. Once it's uploaded, you can tag it, for example, books to read. And that's an easy way for you to save all of your screenshots you have on your phone. If you go back to the date, now you see that everything you've created, whether it's tags or images, everything you've saved, it's there. And then if you go to the tags, you have, for example, your books to read, your reading notes, all in one place as well, which is very convenient. Now, if you want to upload a voice recording, you can do that straight from your phone. Simply go to your voice notes app. In this case, I'm doing an example from an iPhone. You can simply do share to Capacities, and that will automatically give you the option to upload that voice note. Once it's uploaded, you can use the tagging as book voice notes, for example, and make sure that you use the @ and you're going to link that to the book. So once you do both of those things, you have all of your book voice notes kind of all under one tag, so they're going to be organized, and all of your voice notes for a particular book are also going to show up under that book, so everything is saved together, which is really convenient. Now you can also upload things through WhatsApp if that's more convenient, so you can integrate WhatsApp with your Capacities account. So if you go to your settings, there is a link that you can just copy or just push through. It will prompt you to open WhatsApp and then just hit send on that message. Once you do that, it will automatically link your account, and then it's very simple. You just send a image if you want, and it will automatically create that image object inside of your Capacities account. And then once you go to the day, if you want, you can see immediately there, it does show the exact time you sent that in WhatsApp, and it does show the image. If you want to tag it, you can do that here as well. And that's the basics of how you can use Capacities to store all of your book notes. You can use it real time, super easy, right from your phone. If you're a digital reader, meaning if you're reading audiobooks or you're reading on Kindle, especially if you're using your Kindle app on your phone, for example, but also if you're using your actual Kindle and you just highlight the notes and you can later on save them as well. So all of that will make storing all that information all in one place. It is fully private. You don't have to have all of these thoughts on Goodreads, and having the calendar option as well keeps an exact track, so you know exactly what you are reading on a particular day, but also you're able to save all of your notes. You can add as many hashtags or tags as you want. You can add things like a vocabulary tag, character description, so you can kind of make it exactly as how you would annotate a book if you do annotate books as well. It's basically like a color coding system, and yes, you can color code your tags as well. So you can basically replicate that system within Capacities, and it will store all of your data in one place, which is really neat. But you can also expand from that. Obviously, you can use Capacities for many other things. You can actually use it for keeping track of what you're watching, like TV shows, movies, and a lot more media. You can also not only save images, you can also save links. So I didn't mention that, but you can just paste in a link and it will automatically save that into your Capacity and you can tag it. So that could go for YouTube video links, blog post links, even Instagram links. If you don't want to have a bunch of screenshots on your phone, you can simply copy the link to a specific Instagram post and go and dump that link into your Capacities, and it will save that post for you. So maybe that's going to cut down on the amount of things that you're actually screenshotting and then losing inside of your phone, which happens to me a lot. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and maybe it's a system that you want to try. I have found it to be super low friction and something that is very easy to use and keep up with. Let me know if you've used Capacities before, or if you've heard about it and just wanted to try it, or how you're currently tracking what you're reading. I mentioned Capacities in another video where I talked about how to remember the books that you read, especially if you're more of a series reader and you don't want to have to reread the previous book in a series in order to read the new one that comes out. So I will leave that video here if you want to check out some more tips on how you can remember the books that you read. And Capacities was one of the tools I talked about. If this was helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our videos, and subscribe for free to our Substack so you don't miss any of the content that we post across all of our platforms. But for now, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!